Monza, Silverstone, Spa-Francorchamps, Nürburgring. For 25 years now, Europe's legendary racetracks have been home to the Blancpain GT Series. Today, no major GT car manufacturer can afford not to be represented in this championship. McLaren, Ferrari, Bentley, Lamborghini, Jaguar, Aston Martin, to mention but a few of the participating brands. 10 race events during the season, 5 sprint races, 5 endurance races, one of them even a 24-hour race. An action-packed year of racing with fights, crashes, failures and victories. Switzerland, halfway between Bern and Zurich, lies the small town Safenwil, a picturesque place with less than 4,000 inhabitants. No one would expect Safenwil to be one of the car hotspots of Europe. For decades, the company, Emil Frey, is part of the community, starting with a small repair shop for motorcycles and cars. The young and skillful founder, Emil Frey, laid the foundations for a company which today is Europe's largest car seller. Early in his life, racing became his passion, and from there became a family tradition. Today, the Emil Frey Group employs more than 15,000 people and is still family-owned. In the third generation, grandson Lorenz Frey carries a lot of responsibility in the company. But aside from all business, he was infected by the racing virus at an early age.
It started with my grandfather, Emil Frey. He was a learned mechanic. He worked as a mechanic in a workshop, and he repaired bicycles and motorbikes. And he earned there a bit of money, and with this money he started his own business in Zurich. For sure, he didn't have a lot of money back to make a lot of advertisement, and he thought how it is the best to advertise his product and to prove his craftsman's work. So he decided to start racing his bikes, which he tuned by himself, and then the success into these races showed and brought him that he is a craftsman, and brought him respect and the name that people wanted to have also the bike tuned from my grandfather.
With that kind of family history, a racing engagement of Lorenz Frey was predetermined. After countless races in different cars in various racing series, the idea of an own racing project was born.
My grandfather didn't went often with his family to holidays. He had to work always really hard, and after my father passed school and his sister, they said they will do now a big family vacation. So they went to Africa, and in Africa they have seen the first time a Toyota running. And they came from Europe, so from Switzerland, small town, and they have never seen that car. And they talked to local people, and these local people told them that this is the best car at the moment for like difficult track conditions. You can drive it everywhere, you don't have a lot of issues. And my father and my grandfather have been really amazed, and they got in contact with Toyota, and at the end we could start the import business into Switzerland at the beginning. For us, Toyota is a really important brand. Also the spirit behind the Japanese culture is really close to our company culture. Lexus is a brand we could already work now some years together with in Switzerland. We want to really prove the top quality, the top products, and with results in racing, we hope it will really pay off in sales and trust for the brand.
Frey and his team convinced Lexus Japan to start a European GT3 project together. The Japanese manufacturer provides Frey with a brand new GT3 prototype.
It was not easy to bring everything together because, of course, the car was designed, was produced in Japan, came to Europe, Then we worked together first with the ring racing team, the well-known team from the Nürburgring, and went to the first tests. We had to try out everything on the car because we also had not a lot of information on technical side, even not manuals, how to operate the car in the end. And so we had really, in the beginning, to learn a lot about the car.
After the car proves its reliability, nothing less than racing in a championship on the world's most difficult racetrack is the first challenge of the young team and the even younger race car, the legendary Nürburgring Nordschleife.
The VLN races, this was at the beginning the targets because they believe in Japan, what I also agree, that when a car is holding at the Nordschleife and is there fast, it can be fast on all other tracks as well. And for sure there the car was not fixed homologated, so we tried to develop step by step. In Japan they call it Kaizen, always improve. So we try to use our knowledge, their knowledge, that we can together try to bring the maximum out and try to develop step by step in the right direction.
For 2 years, the Nordschleife is the laboratory for the Lexus RC F prototype and Emil Frey Racing. All experiences and a huge amount of data go back to Japan. Meanwhile, construction of a new and improved race car commences. As a development program for the second generation Lexus RC F GT3, in 2017, the International GT Open Championship is chosen. From the start of the season, the RCF and Emil Frey are competitive. 4 wins and a 3rd place in the championship overall show the improvement of the car and the team. The 2018 season is a turning point for the GT3 project. For the first time, they join the toughest European racing championship for GT cars, the Blancpain GT Series. At the start of the year, the program is presented in the brand new workshop at Safenwil. The will to win oozes from every corner of the impressive facility. Best working conditions for preparing the race cars. A state-of-the-art simulator for driver training and car setup. The 2018 driver lineup can hold its own as well. In car number 14, the highly talented and at least equally spirited Spanish driver Albert Costa. Austrian, former Formula One driver Christian Klein, and extremely experienced German GT ace Marco Seefried. With Stefan Ortelli in car number 114, a winner at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and Spa is behind the steering wheel. It is difficult to find someone in GT racing with more GT and sports car expertise than the Monegasque. Finn, Marcus Paltala, also a win of the 24 Hours of Spa on his resume, together with the Austrian GT expert Norbert Siedler. They are up for any challenge. Building up the right team is one of the most important elements of success in motorsport. You can bring the best mechanics, engineers and drivers together, but if they are not acting as a team, nothing is achieved.
The team is for sure the most important. To build up a team, for sure it needs some time. We have a lot of individuals coming from different parts of the world. And I always see it a bit like building up an orchestra. Sometimes you have to choose people who are in one spot really good, but on the other side it just don't sound in this group, or the sound is not the right for this group of people. And I think what helps us a bit, that we are really a family here. For us, each individual has a lot of responsibility, has a lot of inputs into the products, and I think this is a bit special, because at other teams sometimes you're just one of thousands or hundreds of people, and here you are one of 26 who really work on the same aim at the end. And with not that much amount of people, we also are quite fast in decisions, and at the end as well, to keep the team together is the success. In each sport, success is the most important.
The annual training camp before the season start is the perfect place to let the drivers grow together as a team. While the limits of the race car are always visible in the focus of motorsport, every driver has to go to his personal maximum as well.
Luckily here at Emil Frey Racing, every year at the beginning of the year we do a training camp, which is good that it motivates everybody, and I think it's a nice thing.
This is a good opportunity when you have such a start into the season with a training camp. I think to me, from all what I experienced, that's a better start anyway.
The main thing is the head. In every sport, but especially in car racing. But of course, in car racing you can train so many things. You have endurance, you have power endurance, you have coordination, you have concentration, you have visual trainings, and we try to put everything a little bit.
Zolder, Belgium. The 4-kilometre-long racetrack built in 1963 is the stage for the first round of the 2018 Blancpain GT Series Sprint Cup.
Zolder is a very old traditional track. It's a proper old school track, which is a lot of fun to drive actually. It's actually my first time here in Zolder, so basically we used the first session more or less to learn and get used to the circuit.
This is a new track for me, for Christian, for the team, and we have to learn. We are a young team growing up, and this is a test for us at the end.
The first season showdown in the Sprint Cup. It wouldn't be an easy one for the young Swiss team. Aside from all optimism, a difficult race start for car number 14 sends Albert Costa into the gravel right after the long straight. The result? Some damage in the front of the Lexus. An early retirement, and therefore not the perfect start of the season. At the same time, the sister car number 114 fights for positions and finishes the first race of the season in P14.
Top 10 is very accessible, but it's difficult to pass. We have missing a bit of potential. We have to work better. One more race tomorrow here on the circuit to change a bit the tendency of suffering to attacking.
Despite the huge setback of day one, the team still manages to repair the front of the damaged car overnight so they can enter the grid for the second race.
We have another chance today. That's great. The great thing about Sprint Series, you have 2 races a weekend. Starting from P16 doesn't make the work much easier, so therefore we're looking for a quite difficult afternoon for us.
Nevertheless, the hard work of the team gets rewarded. A strong start followed by 60 minutes of intense fighting, overtaking and defending in a field of highly competitive cars. Both Lexus RCF finished the second race of the weekend, and with positions 13 and 20 on the board, it provides a solid basis for the upcoming races.
I think we just need to improve the car a little bit for the future and for the next races.
Italy. The extraordinary Monza circuit is the first proving ground for the Endurance Cup of the Blancpain GT Series. 3 hours of pure racing in which the team and the RCF GT3 can show their potential.
It's always nice to come back to Monza. It's a special atmosphere here. The car is pretty new. The aerodynamics is quite good. So in the fast corners, 3rd, 4th gear corners, we are, I would say, very competitive to the others.
A lot of improvement during free practice and qualifying sessions. The team starts to aim for higher results than in Zolder.
I'm happy with the job we are doing. I'm happy with the job of the engineers and the mechanics. I mean, we are a team.
Beside Ortelli, also Siegfried seems optimistic for the upcoming race.
The team has a lot of knowledge, also the driver lineup has a lot of experience, and I think everything is here. We just have to get it on point, and then it's just a matter of time.
But even with the RCF's advantages on this circuit, there are still over 50 strong competitors who want the best possible result.
It's quite tricky because first corner is very tight. 54 cars going through that chicane is always a bit chaotic, as we saw it last year. So the main task is first of all to survive the first lap.
A huge grid, a high level of performance and a demanding track like Monza, it all promises a difficult race and a high potential for crashes. From the start on, both Emil Frey Racing cars managed to avoid collisions, stay on track and improve positions. Even with a tyre problem, the step forward since Zolder is clearly visible.
That was one of the toughest race stints I remember for a long time. But on the other hand, it's the first race in the Endurance Series. We are in top 15 in the Pro class, top 20 overall, and we are still running.
Altogether, it's still not an easy race for the team. But the improvement is obvious. The evolution of the whole crew and the progress during the short learning phase is quite impressive and shows the right direction for the future.
We had a small issue in the tire, and by the way, even with this issue in the car, in the tire, I was doing a really good times. That means that the car was better.
The team did a good job. We took a lot of experience, a lot of learnings out of it, and tried to make the car step by step better.
2 weeks later, the old-school Brands Hatch racetrack is the next playground of the Blancpain GT Series Sprint Cup. The Emil Frey Racing crew used the time between the races to close the gap to their opponents.
Brands Hatch is going to be another very difficult race weekend for us. The team is new here, the Lexus, the car is new here, and Albert and me are new here.
A new track for the young team with a lot of challenges. The time monitor doesn't immediately show the fast lap times the team is hoping for. But during the weekend, the drivers and engineers adapt the car more and more to the track.
I'm looking forward to the race, and our goal is to be in the top 6.
Green lights for the first race at Brands Hatch. And the Lexus are doing well. With their strong pace, the team surprises not just the many spectators around the track. In the 1-hour race, both cars are close to the top 10. A well-executed pit stop sets Zolder up nicely. The result? The first ever top 10 finish.
I have to say thank you to the whole team. They did a great job from the beginning. Yesterday we struggled a bit, and now in the race we made some points at least.
After the achievements on Saturday, everyone is confident for race 2. The expectations are high, the tension is palpable.
It's going to be tough start because everybody's quick, and first corner is difficult, but I'm ready to enjoy.
The lights go green and the field starts the race. The Emil Frey Lexus cars are fighting hard for their positions again. The drivers have everything under control and stay out of trouble on the track. 60 thrilling minutes of pure racing. At the end, another top 10 result for car number 114 and another reward for the hard work of the whole crew.
The team made an amazing job. They worked in such short period a lot and brought the car to the right direction.
The next stop of the Endurance Series is Silverstone, the home of British motorsport. The team travels to the traditional Formula One circuit with high hopes.
This track is definitely good for us. There are a lot of fast flowing corners where the car is strong, and I'm expecting us to be a lot closer to the top here.
The first sessions of the weekend underline the ambitions. After a strong qualifying, both Lexus start near the front row. Positions 3 for car number 14 and 7 for number 114.
This is a mega result. Now we are quickest in qualifying too. This is just a mega achievement for the team.
When you know the potential of the car is here and you can do the pole position.
We've worked all together. This is really taking the right direction.
Starting from these grid places wasn't expected at this early stage of the season. But the fast progress and improvement have given the team a much better chance to succeed than anyone imagined.
Absolutely fantastic. We could find the maximum out, and on this huge field, so many good teams, so many good drivers.
It's a learning curve. We are learning the car, and it's really nice to be here. We've been using the car as much as we could. Fantastic qualify for the team.
But it's still a tough 3 hours race standing between Emil Frey Racing and a top result. At the beginning of the race, both cars perform well. But with constant pressure from the fast cars behind them, the margin for error is minimal. The smallest mistakes on the track and in the pit easily cost multiple positions. And with the pursuers right behind them, focusing on one's own race is a big ask, especially for car number 14.
Our car performs very well in the high-speed corners. There's nothing to overtake in the first sector.
After the pit stop, Albert Costa has to hold off a Ferrari. But under pressure, mistakes can happen. And so, he loses another position by going off track and onto the dirt. But while the number 14 Lexus struggles to get back to the front, Marcus Paltala in the sister car still has his sights set on the podium. With success. Inch by inch, he closes in on the Aston Martin. And then finally, he goes for the overtake.
It was a very tough stint. He finally made one mistake. I jumped for it and we got the P3 there.
With Paltala out of the seat, it's time for Seidler to defend the position. But of course, a lot can happen in racing. So it's not easy for the Austrian driver, especially with the number 1 Audi right on his tail. The reigning champion pushes and gets closer every lap of the race, a race on the edge. But Seidler's calm and faultless driving entices a mistake from his pursuer. And finally, after the last tense moments, it's time for relief. The first overall podium for Emil Frey Lexus Racing in the Blancpain GT Series is secured. And the joy of the team is pretty obvious. A top 3 result after just a few races in the season for this new team. Unbelievable.
Long time we waited for that, and finally to be on the overall podium, I think is fantastic. The team did an amazing job. We had from Lexus amazing car, all fitted together.
I just made no mistakes. I blocked him where I had to do it.
They really push hard, and we could see today during the race they did not give up 1 meter, 1 centimeter.
A third place which feels like a win to the whole crew. But instead of complacency, it fuels the fire for more. France, Paul Ricard. It's the 6 hours race of the Blancpain GT Series and a new chapter for Emil Frey Lexus Racing. After the 3rd place in Silverstone, one can sense what the team is able to achieve and what might be possible. Yet no one expects another podium. It's a new race, a new track, a new weekend. Still, the ambition of the drivers is higher than ever, which results in another great starting position.
I tried to push because we had a little bit more pace in the car. I don't think I had the pace to be on P1, but top 5 was possible.
P8 in the qualifying for Marcus Paltala, Norbert Seidler and Stefan Ortelli.
Being on P2 in qualifying 2 is very promising. Pretty good as well that we are able to fight for top positions in the 6-hour race.
With Albert Costa finishing the 2nd qualifying just off pole and in P4 overall, another top result feels doable.
I'm so happy, you know, for 2 races in a row. In the 2nd row of the start, this is unbelievable, it's amazing. I'm so proud that how we start here, we're here and we want to be here. We need just 3 positions more to be on where we want to be.
Moments before the race, perfect weather conditions in the south of France and a relaxed atmosphere for the fans on the grid.
If I hear this music, I want to go these 6 hours by as fast as possible that we can go up to the rooftop party, but first we have to be on the podium.
Taking over 2nd place at the start, Christian Klein is suddenly fighting for the early lead. But the race lasts for 6 hours and a lot of strong cars behind him are ready to exploit any error. The Austrian therefore decides not to risk too much early on. At this point, probably the smartest decision. Also, the Monegasque Stefan Ortelli improves by several positions, even though overtaking is not easy. He finds himself in close situations from time to time. Overall, both Lexus are performing up to potential and can keep up with the pace. Even in the hot weather conditions, the cars run without problems. After the first pit stops, it looks like the team's efforts could pay off again. Both cars are still strong in the race. But after the sun goes down, contact with another car forces number 114 to spend a lot of time in the garage. Although the team manages to repair the Lexus, too much time is lost to play a bigger role in this race.
We crashed slightly with a Porsche, and in the end we broke the steering.
Albert Costa in car number 14 is pushing hard. And all of a sudden, has his sights set on the leading Bentley. Mere seconds before, he was in 4th place. But with the Ferrari in front having a big issue and the McLaren being handed a drive-through penalty, Costa finds himself with a shot at P1 in the closing stages. And of course, being a true racer, he wants to take that chance. Lap by lap, he reels in the Bentley. A roller coaster reaches its climax as the tension in the pits of Emil Frey Racing hits fever pitch. In the very last lap of a breathtaking 6-hour race, Costa in the Lexus takes the lead and the maiden victory for the young brand in the Blancpain GT Series. An unbelievable achievement for the team.
I was lucky because he got a problem with the front part of the car, so he was losing a lot of speed. And I realized that, and in the last lap, I did it good. And I say, well, I'm coming, and yeah, I pass him. And then I say, wow, we win.
The drivers made an amazing job, the team made a really great strategy, and at the end, after so many years, to be now there where we always have dreamed to be is just amazing. Lexus provided us an amazing car. I think we can be really proud that we can drive and show the brand to the world.
From the embryo of the Lexus project to an early top 10 result, a podium, and a first-time overall victory for the Japanese manufacturer. What an incredible journey.